Auto-formatting in Power BI reports can cause your numbers to round so aggressively that the value displayed is meaningfully different from the actual number. At large scales, that gap can be significant enough to change a business decision. Dynamic formatting in Power BI solves that. Dynamic formatting lets you write format instructions directly into your measure using DAX. You set the rules once, and the formatting stays accurate and consistent no matter how large the number gets. Watch how Collectiv Senior Analytics Consultant John Russell walks you through exactly how it works.
I have this card here, which has a measure called value. And if I click on the card, we can see, if we go into the call out value, we can see that by default, it displays the units in auto mode. So what this does is it changes the units displayed based on the magnitude of the value. Now that's very handy because it can change a very large number to something small and manageable for us to read automatically without us doing anything to make it do. But as I mentioned, sometimes it doesn't quite display quite the way we want to do it. I'm going to bring two more cards onto the page. The second card here is the same thing as the previous card, the first one, but I have disabled the display units functionality. So this will just display the value as is without any editing. The third card here has our other measure, which has the dynamic format enabled. So this is something that's done within the formatting section of the measure. So if I actually click on the measure here, you can see the format has been changed to dynamic. And what this has done is it gives us a little drop down option on the left hand side here, where we write our DAX for our measure as normal, but we also have another area for format where we can write more DAX to give it instructions on how to display our measure, our value. We'll get into the specifics here in a little bit. So going into the thousands place, no real change. They all look pretty consistent across each other. Into the tens of thousands places here, we get a little bit of a change. So you can see on the left-hand side, the auto measure has rounded it and added in the K letter at the end, signifying that it's in the thousands. So it's now 56,000. In the middle, you see our regular value, and on the right, we have a very similar as the auto, but we have one more character. We have another additional number to give it a little bit more precision. So it is still rounding, just not as much as it is on the auto mode. So we have 55.6 thousand instead of just 56,000. If we go up one more level, we kind of see that we go back into convergence. We align. The displays are very similar once again between the left and the right hand side. If we go up one more level, I think this is where we see the biggest difference. So going from thousands to millions, Power BI on auto mode has dropped a lot of the values and just said, I'm going to display one place for the millions. So that's now showing us 6 million, where on the right hand side, we want to know more what actually is the value more closely to what it is. We have it as 5.56 million. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a big difference to me. That's almost a 7% difference between 6 million and 5.56 million. Now, if I was coming in here as a user and I saw the 6 million number pop up, I'd be excited. I'm like, wow, we did better than I expected. Only to be disappointed later on when I go digging into the details and actually find out that value is closer to 5.5 million instead. Now, see, this is where I see very positive gains from using dynamic format. So on the screen here, you see I have it laid out like a template background. This is how typically one of my pages might be set up. So I'm going to unhide some cards. So a lot of the times we might have multiple cards along the top, like I have here, and you'll quickly run out of real estate. So you really have to manage how big your values can be and how many figures you actually show. Otherwise you start losing information or rounding too quickly and not telling an accurate story. So on the left-hand side here, you see this is our original value. This is like our middle card from the previous page. It's showing us what the exact value is. And these cards along the top here are all the same, slightly different formatting to show you the differences here. So I'm going to click on this card. We have value 1, 2, 3, our original value, and then our dynamic formatting value is the last one on the right. So value 1, all these are feeding from the initial value measure. It's a unformatted measure and it's being auto-adjusted. The units are being auto-adjusted. Value 2, same thing, except it has the comma notation added to it. And value 3 is formatted as currency, as you can see here, also with the comma notation. So a lot of the times we're dealing with like sales amounts or purchases amounts, things in dollars. And so we need to add in that extra character, the $, to denote it that we're dealing with dollars. And so adding in that currency notation is another character on the screen, which also limits the amount of values we can actually display when we have a tight real estate like we have here. So our value is still set at 5,500, around there. You can see we have the same rounding happening on the first two as we did on the previous page, where it's showing us 6 million, an overinflated number compared to the actual value. Our third value here has the currency, and it has 3 dots. It's cutting off the value. So the size that we allotted to it with the currency formatting has made it go off the page, and it's not showing exactly what it wants to show. Our fourth value is similar to on the previous page, and as the first two, it's just showing us 6 million. And our last one is our dynamic formatting, showing it exactly how we want it to be. And we know we can fit 5 characters. So with the $sign and the M, and then 5.56, we know we have enough space to fit that amount of characters to display this value. So with dynamic formatting, we're able to keep that consistent and not run into the problems were happening with the third value here where it runs off. So let's go into the code of what's defining our format. So it's, like I said, it's written in DAX. It's similar to how you would write any other measure. I have a variable initialized at the top, where it's just taking the absolute value of the selected measure, so that's its own value on the other section of this. And we have a simple switch statement, which is going to see how large the value is, and then it's going to give it instructions of how to display it. So at the bottom, we have our lowest values, so anything greater than or equal to 1. And then above that, we have anything greater than or equal to 1,000. So this is scientific notation. And then from there, we step up each tens place, and we tell it exactly what to do each time we go up in magnitude, all the way up to the hundreds of billions of dollars. So we have our $sign, which gives it that notation. And then we have the hashtag symbol, which will say display of value when present. And then we use commas and decimal points to tell it where to put the values when they're present. So this set of instructions each time tells it exactly where we want and how many values we want to be displayed depending on the magnitude of the input value. So very handy, gives you more control over how your values are displayed in Power BI.